Hello everyone and welcome to English with Beat. Yes, today we are going to talk about a new lesson and it's about me, I, and about Apple. So if I say I, Apple, so for the time being, I have to think what's wrong, what's missing here, because something sounds like something wrong, something fishy here in this sentence, if you call it, perhaps. So if you say I, Apple, it doesn't make any sense. It would make sense if you fill the missing thing here. What do you think the missing thing is here? The missing thing is perhaps eat. I think I should use here eat. Yeah. If I say eat, then it does really make sense to me and to you as well. Because without eat, the sense is incomplete. So this is the importance. The word is very important in the sentence. What do we call in English grammar this kind of word? This kind of word we call verbs. Okay, so why we call it verb? Because this word is actually talk about happening, talk about action. So if any word that talk about action or happening, we call them verb, as you can see here. So if I change this word and I say water, and I use myself again here, I. So if I say I water, again, it doesn't make any sense to you. So what is missing here, the missing thing is here is a verb. So which verb do you think can be an appropriate verb here in the sentence? So you would perhaps say drink. I drink water. So drink is a verb. It also has action. Look, if I have a glass of water or a bottle of water, and if I start drinking it, so drink, it's happening something, movement, action. So it's called verb. Eat, again, happening, action. So it's also a verb. So these two blue words in English grammar, they're called verb. Now, the question is, are there kinds of verbs? So I would say yes, there are many kinds of verbs here. But here today, we're going to learn two most important kinds of verbs. Let's talk about it. If I say here, I stay home these days. So I stay home these days. Stay is also a verb because it is an action, right? Drink is a verb, eat is a verb, then what are the differences? If I want to say stay for the past action, something I did in the past, so what I need to do is I would simply say stayed. Yesterday, I stayed in a hospital because I was sick. So I stayed in a hospital. So to change the verb into past, I just simply added ed at the end. But when I want to say yesterday, I eat it. No, we're not saying eat it. We're going to say yesterday I ate banana. You might have a question in mind. Here I added ed, and here I changed the word entirely. What's the point? So the point is, a verb has two different kinds. We call it regular, and the other is irregular. So if you see any verb when you're changing it into past, and you see ed in the changes by the end of a verb, then you have to call it regular verb. And if you see different changes, like the word entirely changes, the spelling is entirely changed, so you can say the verb is irregular. Very easy example is go. So if you want to say, I go to the supermarket every evening, but yesterday I went to a mall. So for yesterday, you didn't say go, you say I went for the past. So the verb you used is past, and that is irregular. Why it is irregular? Because it has no regulation, it has no rule for changing from present verb to the past verb. So this is how we have two different kinds. We call them regular and the other is irregular. Sorry. So two kinds of verbs we're learning today: regular and irregular. Regular, they always have ed by the end of a verb in the past, or sometimes only d, or sometimes ied. As per the spelling rule, I will let you know later that regular verbs ending in the past is always ed, d, or ied. And when you talk about irregular, so there is no rule for them. You have to learn by yourself. There are maybe 300 to 1,000 irregular verbs you can learn by heart, and you have to remember them. There is no rule. So don't worry about regular verbs, worry about irregular verbs. Okay, so this is one type of verb kinds, right? Now we're moving to the other kind. Breakfast at 7 a.m. Okay, so here we are talking about a different kind of verbs. Go. So I sleep at 10 p.m. I take breakfast at 7 a.m. So the question is, I take breakfast. In basic sentence structure, if you remember, we usually talk about SVO, right? S stands for subject, V stands for verb, O stands for object. So subject, verb, and object are the main parts of basic sentence structure. Without this structure, you cannot build your house. You need a strong structure, which is subject, verb, and object, to build your sentence. So it's a requirement of these parts to be the parts of a sentence. Without any of these, for example, if you're missing one of these, your building is not complete, okay? So I take breakfast. In this sentence, this is I is a subject, take is a verb, breakfast is an object of this basic sentence structure. The question is, I sleep at 10 p.m. This is complete sentence. There is no missing information here. It's fully completed, appropriate sentence, and it really makes sense to us when we listen to it. I sleep at 10 p.m. It's clear. But the point is, where is the subject in this sentence? So, I is a subject, sleep is a verb, and this is prepositional phrase. This you will learn later on, prepositional phrase. The question is, where is an object, which is the main part or one of the main parts of a sentence structure. So there should be an object, but there is no object here because we don't need an object. That means it is also a verb. This is also a verb. Both are verbs. One has an object, the other doesn't. What's the point? So the point is the verb has two different kinds. One of them is called a verb with object and a verb without object. A verb with object, in grammar terminology, we call it transitive. Transitive. Transitive means verb with object. And intransitive means verb without object. So you can see clearly in both the examples, both are correct examples and they're making sense to us. I sleep, nothing is here because sleep has no object. I come, can I come? So when I say can I come, after come there is no object because come is a verb that comes without object. There is no need for object. We call it intransitive. But some verbs like I take. What do you take? I take. So it's incomplete. You must use an object after take. So that will become a complete sentence. This is called transitive. So some verbs are transitive, which has object and must have an object after them. And some verbs are intransitive, like sleep. After sleep, there is nothing and no object is required. Okay, so how many kinds of verbs are there? We have learned until now 4 different kinds. To just wind up with you, the first kind we learn is regular and irregular. Then we learn transitive and intransitive. I hope you enjoyed learning. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.